Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. Welcome to G4 Quran class for today. I'm your dear teacher and I'll be assisted by the support teacher and teacher's assistant. So inshallah we'll start our class with the tilawat. Can I request ST to pick a student?
Yes, could I please request G4756 to unmute?
G4756, Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum assalam.
Can you start the tilawat with ta'awuz and tasmiyah?
जी. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. ولقد آتيناك سبعا من المثاني والقرآن العظيم. Translation. And we have indeed given thee the 7 oft repeated verses and the great Quran.
Jazakallah. MashaAllah, you recited very well. There was only just one point I wanted to raise. It was over here. I think you made a waqf here with meme instead of sab'a. So that's the only, if you're doing a waqf, it will be sab'a. Okay?
Okay.
Jazakallah.
Jazakallah.
So moving on, can I request ST for a student for Hadith?
Yes, could I please request G4738 to unmute?
G4738, Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam. Can you recite the Hadith?
Yep. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Allahumma salli ala Muhammadin wa ala ali Muhammadin kama sallaita ala Ibrahim wa ala ali Ibrahim innaka Hamidum Majid. Allahumma barik ala Muhammadin wa ala ali Muhammadin kama barakta ala Ibrahim wa ala ali Ibrahim innaka Hamidum Majid. An Abi Lubabata Bashir ibn Abdil Munziru radiyallahu anhu anna nabiyya sallallahu alayhi wasallam where is it? Where am I?
1 second.
Okay. Radiyallahu anhuma qala Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam. I can't see that, it's too big.
1 second. Is this better?
Yes. Innal ladhi laysa fi jawfihi shayyun min al-Qur'ani kal baytil jarib. No, it's not jarib. Baytil Kharib, sorry.
Yeah, Kharib. Yes.
Kharib.
Yeah.
Hazrat Ibn Abbas radiyallahu ta'ala anhu narrates that the Holy Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, indeed, the one who does not have any portion of the Quran inside his heart is like the abandoned house. Tirmidhi number 2930.
Jazakallah. Next, can I please have a student from Al-Fuzat?
Yes, could I please request G4771 to unmute?
G4771, Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam. Can you recite the following sayings of promised Messiah alayhi salam?
Sure. People recite the Holy Qur'an, but they do so like a parrot without thinking, just like a pundit who goes on blindly reciting the scripture. Neither does the reciter understand what they are reciting, nor are the listeners aware of what is being said. In the same manner, all that is left of the recitation of the Holy Qur'an is for people to recite a few parts without knowing what they have read. At most, people will recite the Holy Qur'an in tune, paying special attention to the pronunciation of the letters Qaf and Ain. No doubt, it is commendable to recite the Holy Qur'an in a melodious voice, but the actual purpose behind the recitation of the Holy Qur'an is to learn about its divine verities and insights, and so that human beings can bring about a transformation within themselves as a result.
Jazakallah. So now I'll hand over to the TA for today's quiz.
Assalamu alaikum rahmatullah. Jazakallah DT. So let's increase our knowledge about the Holy Quran with help of a few questions. So in today's quiz, question number 1 is, in which word will the rule of Lamul Jalala be applied? Options are A, Kalla, B, Nurullah, C, Allama, or D, Kullu. ST, kindly unmute an ID for the answer.
Could I please request G4739 to unmute?
G4739, Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum. It's B.
B, Jazakillah, and your answer is correct. So in the word Nurullah, we can find Lamul Jalala in the word Allah. Well done, G4739. Next question. Which part of the Holy Quran contains only Makki surahs? Is it A, chapter 26, B, chapter 27, C, chapter number 28, or it's D, chapter number 29? ST, we need an ID for the answer.
Could I please request G4703 to unmute?
G4703, Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. I'm not sure, but may I guess?
Yes, sure.
Part of the Holy Quran contain. Maybe C.
Okay, but unfortunately, your answer is incorrect. Correct answer is chapter number 29, which contains only Makki surahs. So, Jazakallah for participation. Next question is, the Holy Quran has prophesied that they will alter Allah's creation. Which technology is being referred to? Options are A, plastic surgery, B, organ transplant, C, cloning, or D, IVF treatment. ST, kindly unmute an ID.
Could I please request G4747 to unmute?
G4747, Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Okay, what is correct answer in your opinion?
I'm not sure, but I think C, maybe.
Okay, let's check the answer, and you are right, mashallah, good. So the correct answer is cloning. So cloning is the alternation in Allah's, is an effort to alter the Allah's creation. Your answer is correct, mashallah, well done. Next question.
Jazakallah.
Jazakallah. What is the makhraj or exit point of the letter Ha? A, in the middle part of throat, B, in the upper part of throat, C, in the lower part of throat, or D, from palate. ST, we need an ID for the answer.
Could I please request G4745 to unmute?
G4745, Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullah.
I'm thinking D. D. Okay, let's check the answer.
Oh no.
But the correct answer is it's in the middle part of the throat. So Ha is a throat letter and it is articulated from the middle part of the throat. Ha and Hamza. Sorry, Ain and Ha are articulated from the middle of the throat.
Oh,
So good effort, Jazakallah. And last question of today's quiz is, we have given you 7 oft repeated verses. Which surah is being referred to? Is it A, chapter 97, Suratul Qadr, B, chapter number 1, Suratul Fatiha, C, chapter 113, Al-Falaq, or D, chapter 114, Suratul Nas? ST, we need one last ID for the quiz.
Could I please request G4764 to unmute?
G4764. Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah. So what is the correct answer in your opinion?
I think it's B.
B. Jazakillah, well done. Your answer is correct. So chapter 1, Surah Al-Fatiha is the correct answer. And Allah Ta'ala says about it that we have given you 7 oft repeated verses of Surah Al-Fatiha. Jazakumullah. So this concludes our today's quiz. So we are going back to GT for the lesson.
Jazakallah. So we are going to begin our lesson for today. And our lesson for today is Khulasatul Qawaid, which are the summary of rules, which we have learned in the previous week. So we had learned about Tafkhim, the thick letters, which are pronounced in a thick and broad sound. There are 7 letters: Kha, Sad, Dad, Ghain, Ta, Qaf, and Za. For example, Khalidan. So these have to be pronounced in a thick manner and broad manner. We also learned about majestic lam, which is the lam in the word Allah, lamul jalala. And whenever there is a fatha or fatha ishbaiya or dhamma on it, we pronounce it in a thick sound, Allahu. But any other lam, and if it's with the kasra before the Allah, it will be pronounced in a thin sound, billah. Moving on, we also learned about the thickness of ra and the thinness of ra. So ra is pronounced with the tafkhim, thick, if it bears a fatha, dhamma with shadda or without shadda, or it's tanween. But it's pronounced with the thin sound, tarqiq, if it bears a kasra with shadda or without shadda, or it's tanween. So for example, raji'un, ra has a fatha, it will be pronounced with a thick sound. But if it's kasra, thin sound, rihun. So moving on, we also learned about qalqala and its types. So qalqala, whenever there are 5 letters of qalqala that we had learned, and their acronym is qutbu jaddin, qaf, ta, ba, jim, and dal. If it's mute, that means when it has a sukoon on it, then we will do a jerking sound. For example, iq. And there are 4 types of qalqala. So if the sukoon mark is within the word, ajruhu, and if it's at the end, ukhruj, and if we are pausing, this will be a stronger one if it's a qalqala letter, furuj. But it will be even stronger if we pause on a mushaddad qalqala letter, bil-hajj. Moving on, we also learned about izhar. Izhar means to pronounce in a clear pronunciation. And we learned about noon sakin. So clear pronunciation of noon sakin or tanween without prolonging nasal sound. And we learned that there were 6 letters of izhar, also known as letters of manifestation, or you can also say letters of halqi, huruf al-halqi. So those are, as you can see on screen, alif and hamza, ha, ain, ha, ghain, and kha. So you will pronounce it clearly if after noon sakin, for example, a hamza comes, yan auna. So we will not pronounce a nasal sound. And we also learned about mim sakin, that we will not pronounce a nasal sound. We will pronounce meme sakin clearly unless there is meme or ba that appears to it. So apart from meme and ba, any other letter that comes after meme sakin, we'll pronounce it clearly. For example, an'amta, la. We also learned about extended elongation, mad zaid. And we learned basically there were two types of mad. Al-mad saghir, which is also known as medium long elongation. That's elongated for between approximately 3 to 5 seconds. And we also learned about al-mad al-kabir, which is extra long elongation, and we do approximately 4 to 6 seconds. And the rules of prolongation, how long do we prolong a text within the Holy Quran? So if it's just a meme, we will not prolong it. When you see the meme with fatha or a harakat, only 1 second, ma. And then next, if it's meme with harf al-mad, then we prolong it for up to 2 seconds, ma. But if you have al-mad al-saghir, meme with harf al-mad followed by hamza, alif, you prolong it for approximately 3 to 5 seconds. Ma aghna. However, if there is meme with harf al-mad followed by hamza, or this is an example of mad al-kabir, we prolong it for approximately 4 to 6 seconds. Was-samaa. So moving on, I'm just going to present a brief abstract of the rules from lesson 1 to 10 that we had learned so far. Let me just 1 second zoom it in if I can. All right. So we learned about short vowels, harakats, that we do not prolong a maftuh or madmoom or maksur letter for more than 1 second. So we do not replace one stroke with another, as it will change the meaning of the word. Kutiba, only for 1 second. As you know, maftuh is any letter that contains a fatha, madmoom is any letter that has a damma, and maksur is any letter that has a kasra. Moving on, we also learned about long vowels, al-harakat al-ijbaiyah. So do not prolong a letter which carries a vertical fatha or a vertical kasra or an inverted damma for more than 2 seconds. Ibrahim. We also learned about huruf al-mad, letters of elongation. Alif sakin preceded by a maftuh, or vav sakin preceded by a madmoom, and ya sakin preceded by a maksur should be prolonged for 2 seconds only. Utina. So moving on, let me quickly try to put it back 1 second. So we also learned about letters of soft elongation. So huruful lin, waw sakin or ya sakin preceded by a maftuh letter should be prolonged for 2 seconds only. We also learned about tashdid, which means stressing. And mushaddad means hardened. Mushaddad is any letter that has a tashdid on it, and it should be stressed appropriately to indicate that the consonants are being doubled. Batha. We also learned about nasalization, huruf al-ghunna. So which means we have to pronounce a nasal sound for a sustained 2 seconds on mim mushaddad and noon mushaddad. Mim, in. So the other examples we had gone through are qalqala, jerking sound, which I have just gone through in the first slide. And the types of qalqala we have are soft when the sukoon mark is within the words, tajri, and moderate when the sukoon of the qalqala letter is at the end. It's moderate, lam yalid, and like I mentioned earlier, it will be a strong qalqala if it's pausing on a mushaddad letter. We also learned about thick sounds, Again, as I have previously mentioned, the 7 thick sounds that letters that have to be pronounced with the broad and thick sound. We also learned about similar sounding letters, why it is really important that we pay attention while producing the similar sounding letters. Otherwise, it can change the meaning of the words. Qalbun and kalbun have 2 different meanings. Qalbun with qaf is a thick letter, as you know. It means heart, whereas kalbun is a thin letter and it means dog. We also learned about Ishar, manifest noon. We have gone through that. We have 6 letters of Ishar. And after noon sakin or tanween, if any of those letters come, we'll pronounce the noon sakin and tanween without any nasal sound and pronounce it clearly. Similarly, for izham mim sakin, we will pronounce the mim sakin clearly if any letter other than mim or ba appears next to it. We also learned about majestic lam, that the lam in Allah will be pronounced with a thick sound if it is preceded by a vowel mark of fatha or dhamma. However, if Allah, has the word previously has a kasra, it will be pronounced with thin sound, and also any other lam, whether it is containing fatha, dhamma, or kasra, any other apart from Allah will be, that lam mushaddat will be pronounced with a thin sound, sorry. We also learned about thickness of takhfim of ra, and we know if it's a mushaddat ra with fatha, it will be a thick sound, except for ra sakin, when there is a mukhaffam letter next to it, that will also be a thick sound. And then we have other examples of when ra will be pronounced with a thick sound, when there is fatha or dhamma, or when there is a ra with sukoon next to it, if there is alif with or without a vowel mark, or a mufakham letter appears. Similarly, we also learned about thinness, tarqiq of ra. Ra will be pronounced with tarqiq if it bears a kasra or kasratan. And ra sakin will also be pronounced with a tarqiq if a previous letter bears a kasra or happens to be a ya sakin. This equally applies to ra sakin due to observing a pause. And lastly, we learned about al-mad saghir. We have to prolong it for 3 to 5 seconds. And we also learned about al-madul kabir. We have to prolong it roughly between 4 to 6 seconds. And we have examples here how extra long attached elongation is for 4 to 5 seconds, whereas most of the other madul kabir are roughly between 5 to seconds. And we have examples of disjointed muqatta'at letters as well. So we are going to ask some about these elongation rules, which I've already gone through. Can I quickly ask the ST to pick a student so we can do some exercise?
Yes, could I please request G4733 to unmute?
G4733, Assalamu alaikum. Can you recite the example for 1 second elongation from here? Let me put it clearer for you if you can see. Let me know if you can see it clearly.
Yes, I can see clearly.
Yes. So can you recite from here, the first line?
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم كتب ففزع مثل.
Yes, and please continue. Sorry, 1 second. With the next line.
Yep. ألم ترى ألم يجعل تنهتون من آمن رب غفور.
Good. And also, can I ask you to recite the 2 second rule from here?
Yep. إيلافهم فله أوتينا نوحيها فأتمهن ثم إنا.
Very good. And this is just nasal sound. If you can pronounce the nasal sound for here.
ثم.
Good, good. And lastly, can I ask you to recite this line for me? This is 3 to 5 second rule.
La ilaha illallah allazi anqadha
Good. And the last line for 4 to 6 second rule.
tushaqun bari'un alif lam mim sad.
Jazakallah, mashallah, you have tried very well. And with this, our practice for surah practice, I'll hand over to TA.
Jazakallah Diti. So I'm going to share my screen with you. I hope you can. So because we revised all those rules which we have learned so far, now we will be focusing on those rules during the recitation practice, inshallah. And some of you can see an invitation or notification to join breakout rooms. If you see it on your screen, kindly join breakout room for individual surah practice, and rest of you will do the practice with me. Okay. ST, kindly unmute an ID for the recitation.
Could I please request G4726 to unmute?
G4726. Assalamu alaikum. G4726. Okay. ST, kindly unmute some other ID.
Yes. Could I please request G4769 to unmute?
G4769. Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah. Okay, could you start the recitation with Ta'awuz and Tasmiyah?
Yes. A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. Do I start with the highlight? Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Ya ayyuhan nasu antumul fuqara'u ilallahi wallahu huwal ghaniyyul hamid.
One more verse.
Iyasha yud'ibukum vayati Bil-Haqqin Jadid.
Okay, it is A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajeem. Wa ya'ti bi khalqin jadid.
Viyati bi-halqin jadid.
Wa ya'ti bi khalqin jadid. So you had to.
Viyati bil-haqqin jadid.
Bi khalqin.
Bi-halqin jadid.
Jazakallah. Okay, let's have a look on the corrections. We have revised this rule that short strokes should not be prolonged. Okay, they take only 1 second to be pronounced. So the word is Ya ayyuhan nasu. Okay, do not prolong short stroke. And here, if you want to make waqf, how should you stop? Do you know?
Yeah, you would be antumul fuqara.
Yes, so the short strokes change into a sukoon. Okay,
Yes.
Hamza will turn into a sakin, Hamza sakin.
And then you'll repeat back the word.
Sorry?
And then you'll repeat back the word to continue reading.
Yes. Antumul fuqara. Okay, so you had to stop here like this, and again you had the chance to make a proper stop because the waqf jaiz or the sign of jim was here. Can you see this?
Yes.
Yes, so you could stop here with a proper way of stopping, and that is ilallah.
Okay, ilallah.
Yeah, here again, short stroke will be changed into a sukoon.
Yeah.
And here, how did you pronounce this word, Allah?
Wallahu.
Perfect this time. So do you know what type of lam is it? It is called Lamul Jalala or the majestic lam. Okay.
Yes, majestic
So
lam.
if you find a fatha before this lam, you will pronounce it as you are pronouncing in a thick sound. So you were pronouncing correctly, mashallah. Wallahu, right?
Wallahu.
Yes. And here, if alif carries a sukoon sign, then keep it short, like Hamza. Okay. Yasha.
Yasha.
Yes, do not prolong alif sakin. Okay. And here, I think you change the letter. So
Yeah,
it is dal. So how should you pronounce this word? Use hibkum.
Use hibkum.
Perfect. And what is the rule for this ba sakin here? Is it a jerking letter?
Yes, it's a jerking letter.
Yes, so we will make a light jerk.
Yeah, light.
On sakin ba.
Hibkum.
Yes. And the last one, I think you prolong this word.
Yeah, I prolonged it.
Okay, so try this again.
Vayati.
Okay, follow the rule which I just told you.
Vayati bihalkin jadid.
Jazakillah. And do you know what type of letter is kha?
It's one of the kalkala letters.
No. It is a thick letter. It is one of the thick letters. There are 7 thick letters, and kha is one of it, and qaf is also
one of them as well.
Yes, one of them as well. So Jazakillah. Mashallah, you tried well. ST, kindly unmute another ID.
Could I please request G4770 to unmute?
G4770. Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum. Sorry, I was asked to unmute as well, so I don't know who.
Okay, you are 726?
Yes.
So inshallah, we will give you turn after G4770, please.
Okay.
Okay. Zakillah. G4770. Assalamu alaikum. Please start the recitation from here. After Tabuz and Tasmiyah.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم وما ذلك على الله بعزيز ولا تزر وازرة وزر أخرى وإن تدع مثقلة إلى حملها لا يحمل منه شيء ولو كان ذا قربى إنما تنذر الذين يخشون ربهم بالغيب وأقاموا الصلاة ومن تزكى فإنما يتزكى لنفسه وإلى الله المصير.
Jazakallah. Mashallah, you tried well. Recitation is good, but you made a few mistakes. So let's discuss those mistakes. Here, you can see Lamul Jalala here in verse number 18. So how should we pronounce Lamul Jalala if its previous mutaharrik letter is carrying a fatha?
From thought?
No, with a thick sound. With a thick sound. Okay, with a fuller mouth. Yes, a bit fuller mouth. Alallahi.
Alallahi.
Yes, Alallahi, like this. Okay, and here you can see ra with a fatha and ra with a vertical fatha. So how should we pronounce these ra's?
1 second for first one and 2 to 3 second for 2 second for second one.
Okay, and should we pronounce with thick sound or thin sound?
Thin sound.
Thick sound. Whenever ra carries a fatha or vertical fatha or dhamma or inverse dhamma, so pronounce it in a thick sound. Okay, ukhra with a round mouth, and here as well.
Ra, ukhra.
Yes, and here you, mashallah, followed the rule. But do you know which rule you follow here? You followed here. You pronounce this tanween with the clear noon. Do you know why? Because the following letter is a letter of throat or harf izhar, letter of manifestation. So whenever a letter of manifestation comes after noon sakin or tanween, we pronounce it with the clear noon sound. Okay, and you did it well, mashallah. And what about this ta marbuta? How should we stop here? What change we will bring in this ta? Okay, we will pronounce this ta as a ha if we are stopping here. Okay, so it is as-salah. We do not change. Yes, we do not change this ta into ha, but this ta marbuta changes into ha sound, ha sakin, when we are stopping on it. Okay, and here you had to pronounce this noon with the nasal sound. Inshallah, we will learn this rule later. Waman tazakka. Okay, and do you know about this stroke?
Vertical fatha.
Perfect, and here as well, it is vertical fatha. So what is the rule for vertical fatha?
2 second.
2 second prolongation, and you ignored this rule during the recitation. So could you please read this word only again?
Yeah, sure. Tazakka fa innama yatazakka.
Well done, mashallah. And which rule you followed on non mushaddat?
Yes.
Do you know which rule you applied?
Nasal sound. Yeah.
Yes, ghunna or nasal sound. Okay, 2 second nasal sound on non mushaddat and mim mushaddat. Fa innama. Excellent. And one last question. What type of letter is Sod?
Thick letter.
Perfect. So Sod is a thick letter, one of 7 thick letters. Okay.
Yeah.
So Jazakillah G4 770. Mashallah, you recited well. Okay, ST, kindly mute her and unmute another ID for recitation.
Yes, could I please request G4 726 to unmute?
G4 726. Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam. So it's your turn now. Could you please start with Tabuz and Tasmiyah?
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم.
Okay, let's have a look on Tabuz first. Please recite Tabuz again, Tabuz and Tasmiyah again, and don't forget to prolong this Vaw Sakin because it is Vaw Madiyah.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم وما يستوي الأعمى والبصير ولا الظلمات ولا
النور ولا الظل ولا الحرور وما يستوي الأحياء ولا الأموات إن الله يسمع من يشاء وما أنت بمسمع من في القبور.
Jazakallah, excellent recitation, but I think there is some issue with your internet or mic, so we couldn't hear you clearly, but I felt you were following all the rules. That is good, mashallah. So here, and do you know what type of letter is Zaw?
Zaw is one of the thick letters, so I would have to pronounce it with a round mouth.
Yes, and could you please read up to here again with the thicker sound on
Wala dhillu.
Zillu. Yes.
Wala dhillu.
Perfect. And what type of alif is it?
This is alif madya because it's followed by a fatha.
Excellent. Its previous letter is maftu letter. And what type of mad is it?
It's a mad kabir, and it has to be prolonged for 5 to 6 seconds.
Excellent.
4 to 6 seconds. Yeah.
4 to 6 seconds, and it is also called madde muttasil because its following letter is hamza. Okay.
Yes.
And here I felt like you are jerking this mim sakin. It is not a jerking letter, so try to read this word again for me.
Walal amwat.
Well done. And what rule applies on noon mushaddad?
Is a noon gunna, so it has to be pronounced for 2 counts.
Yes, gunna rule will be applied on noon mushaddad and on mim mushaddad as well here as well. So 2 seconds. Gunna. And what type of letter is ba? This vaw
is va madya because it's followed by a
maftuh letter. So its previous letter is a maftuh. So the rule of mad or will be applied on this vaw. Yes, so it is vaw madya. And one last question. Is it also vaw madya?
It's not a vaw mad. It's alif madya.
Perfect. So next letter is alif madya, and this is not a vaw madya. It's a maftuh letter, and next letter is a blank alif. So this makes it alif madya. Okay, well done. And what type of mad is it?
This is the mad saghir, and it's counted for 3 to 5 seconds.
Well done. Excellent. Mashallah, your recitation is very good. So Jazakallah for the recitation.
Jazakallah.
Jazakallah. So I think we can have one last student. ST, kindly unmute another ID.
Could I please request G4762 to unmute?
G4762. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam.
Okay, could you start the recitation from verse number 22?
Okay. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. ولا الذل ولا الحرور وما يستوي الأحياء ولا الأموات إن الله يسمع من يشاء إن الله يسمع من يشاء وما أنت بمسمع من في القبور.
Jazakallah. So your recitation is beautiful. You pronounce this Lamul Jalala with a thin sound, then mashallah, you rectified your mistake and pronounced it with the thicker sound. That is correct. Well done. And do you know what type of letter is ha? It is letter of throat. Okay, so we pronounce letter Ain and letter Ha with the middle of the throat, and mashallah, you articulated it very nicely from the middle of the throat. Okay, and what type of mad is it?
2 seconds.
No, this one. Is it mad saghir or mad kabir?
Kabir.
Yes, extended elongation. Well done. And how long should we prolong it for?
4 to 6 seconds.
Well done. And what type of letter is it?
Alif Madda.
Well done, because its previous letter is carrying a
Fatha.
Fatha. Okay. And do we know about this month?
It's 3 to 4 seconds. It's
yes, 3 to 5 seconds. Yes, it is called Madde Saghir. Well done. And what type of letter is Qaf?
I haven't really memorized this. So.
Okay, we just revised that is it. It is one of the thick letters. So do you know about thick letters?
Yes, I do.
How many letters are called thick letters?
7.
Which one?
Qaf.
Okay, so these are, for your convenience, I'm showing you the thick letters. Can you see that at the right of the screen? So yes, thick letters are Alif, Hamza, Ha, Ain, Hain, Ain, Ha, Gha, and Kha.
Sorry to interrupt here.
Okay.
Letter of Ishar.
Oh yes. So what was I saying?
You said thick letter, Mufakham.
Oh, sorry. So these are the letter of Ishar. And for Mufakham letter, we have to go back. Sorry, I mixed up the letters. So Mufakham letters are here. Kha, Sad, Dad, Ta, Za, Ghain, and Qaf. Okay, so those were letter of manifestation, and I was talking about Mufakham letter. So these 7 letters are called Mufakham letter. Okay.
Yeah.
And Qaf is one of them. So Jazakillah, G4762.
Yeah.
And we are left with a few minutes now. So I'm handing over to
you can take one more student, please.
Can we? Okay. ST, kindly unmute another ID.
Could I please request G4747 to unmute?
G4747. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Okay, so could you please start the recitation from Sulus of the part 22?
Okay. A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. Ya ayyuhan nasu antumul fuqara'u ilallahi wallahu wal ganiyyul hamid. Sorry. Ganiyyul hamid.
Yes.
In Yasha, no, sorry. Sorry. In Yasha use Hibukum Wayati bil Halkin Jadid.
Jazakillah. Mashallah, you tried well. And sorry. What type of noun is it? Do you know?
Gunna.
Yes, it is noun mushaddad. So rule of gunna will be applied on this noun, and we should prolong it for how many seconds?
2.
Perfect. We should prolong it for at least no more than 2 seconds. And here there were 2 ha's. Okay, one in at the end of word Allah, and other next letter also starts with ha. So we have to pronounce 2 ha here. Wallahu huwal ghaniyyu. So could you please recite this part of the verse again?
Okay. Wallahu huwal Ghaniyyul Hamid.
Well done. And ya mushaddad, kindly pronounce it with more stress or emphasize on ya mushaddad.
Okay. Ghaniyyun Hamid.
So it is huwal Ghaniyyul Hamid. Okay.
Ghaniyyul Hamid.
Hamid ha.
Hamid.
Well done. And here you had to pronounce this tone with nasal sound. Okay, it is not a clear noun. Yasha.
Yasha.
Well done. And what type of ya is it?
Mad.
Excellent. So it is ya mad. Mashallah. You know most of the rules. That is very good. And Jazakillah for the recitation. So we are left with 2-3 minutes only. So over to you, DT, for the recap and conclusion.
Jazakallah.
Jazakallah.
Let me just share my screen. Okay, so just quickly, I'll go through the brief rule, recap. We went through the brief abstracts of rules, lesson 1 to 10. We learned about, we revised about short vowels, long vowels, and letters of elongation, huruful mad, letters of soft elongation. Both of these will be prolonged for only 2 seconds, and long vowels as well, whereas short vowel only for 1 second. We learned about tashdid and nasalization. Nasalization for noon gunna and mim gunna will be prolonged for 2 seconds. We also learned about qalqala and the 5 letters that have to be pronounced with a jerking sound. We learned about thick letters and also how similar sounding letters need to be pronounced correctly, otherwise they can change the meaning of the words. We also learned about izhar, manifest noon, and there are 6 letters of izhar, and when any of these 6 letters come, we will not pronounce the noon sakin in tanween clearly without any nasal sound. Similarly, for izhar, mim sakin, if any other letter other than mim or ba appears next to mim sakin, then it will also be pronounced clearly without any nasal sound. We learned about mad istiklam, how if there's fatha and dhamma, it will be prolonged, or it will be, read with a thick sound, and it will be a thin sound for any other la mushaddad. We also went through the rules of thickness of ra and thinness of ra, and how mad al-saghir will be pronounced for 3 to 5 seconds, and mad al-kabir for longer than that, up to 4 to 5 seconds. So now we are finishing off with an ending prayer. Since we are running out of time, I'll quickly recite the prayer for you. Allahumma inni, Allahumma inni abduk wa ibnu abdik wa ibnu amatik nasiyati biyadik ماد في حكمك عدل في قضاؤك أسألك بكل اسم هو لك سميت به نفسك أو أنزلته في كتابك أو علمته أحدا من خلقك أو استأثرت به في علم الغيب عندك أن تجعل القرآن ربيع قلبي ونور صدري وجلاء حزني وذهاب همي. O Allah, I am your servant, the son of your servant, and the son of your maidservant. My forehead is in your hand. Your command concerning me prevails, and your decision concerning me is just. I call upon you by every one of the beautiful names with which you have described yourself, or which you have revealed in your book, or you have taught to any of your creatures, or which you have chosen to keep in the knowledge of the unseen with you, to make the Qur'an the delight of my soul, the light of my heart, and the source to remove my grief and sadness, and dispel my anxiety and fear. Ameen. Jazakallah everyone for attending today's class. Inshallah, hope to see you in the next class. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.